Hello. Um, so welcome back. As stated, I will be doing the analysis of third stock pick, which is Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone. And while in recent times there has been a lot of negative news related to Adani stocks, with Adani being sued by the U.S. federal government for um, some problems with disclosing information to investors. Uh, they had some related bribery charges, which was in Adani Green, which is also in this portfolio, and I will explain why I am paper trading the stock as well. But first, let us look at Adani Ports. So if we go over to Screener, here we can see that the stock PE and the industry PE is about the same, exactly the same actually. So that is all right. But if we look at the PE ratio, the median PE ratio is 26.8, and the stock PE is currently trading below that, which is good because then it offers us a potential upside from the current levels. Next, let's look at the first thing to see here is that Adani Ports is the market leader in its industry by a huge margin. Then, if you look at the quarterly sales, it we can see a strong uh, sales growth here, almost quarter on quarter. Um, yeah, just quarter on quarter growth here, which is pretty good. If we look at the profit and loss account, again, sales is increasing every year, maybe except for here 2018, 2019, and yeah, except that sales seems to be increasing every year. Yeah, just negative here, and except that it's pretty strong sales growth. Operating profit margin also pretty high at 60% here, but yeah, it's been pretty consistent throughout at 50, between 50 to 60%, 67% even. And other income has also increased here, and profit after tax, which is net profit, has also increased over the years. EPS is also showing strong growth, and the dividend payout is relatively stable at around 12%, and even higher than that in recent years here. They have a huge amount of reserves at 56,000 crores, and they also have a lot of borrowings with 50,485, with mostly long-term borrowings at 37,000 crores, almost 38,000, and short-term borrowings as well as lease liabilities. Their fixed assets have also increased, which is good. They've been purchasing a lot of land lately here, as well as building and plant machinery. Um, Actually, all assets, if you look at it, they have a huge amount of gross block, and if we look at the cash flows now, the operating activity is positive with profits from operations at 16,299 crores. Investing activity is obviously negative because of the fixed assets purchased, which is greater than the fixed assets sold, as well as acquisition of companies here. In recent years, there has been actually a lot of acquisition of companies, and cash from financing activity is negative due to repayment of borrowings, which is actually a good thing. And an even better thing is that net cash flow is positive. If you look here, debtor days have actually decreased, and the cash conversion cycle has also decreased. The ROCE is not very high, but it is relatively stable and is currently at 13%. If we look at promoters, we can see that they haven't really changed their stake from December of 2023. And foreign investors have actually reduced their stake in the company. Uh, and again, here Goldman Sachs is also invested in Adani Ports. They have decreased it by 0.1%, which doesn't worry me too much. And yeah, that's just about the financials. But um, what what really I believe has driven the stock price down in recent years has been the political and just the news around Adani, and that has really caused people to start selling it because the stock I believe is pretty good. Like the financials are solid, and it tends to become the world's largest private port company and India's largest integrated transport utility by 2030. So I just wrote the pros and cons here. It's pretty straightforward, but I wanted to discuss that political aspect more for this talk. Um, so yeah, this article is about the overview of the situation. I'll put the article in the description if you want to read it. So here it mentions that Trump faces a dilemma after US prosecutors charged Gautam Adani with a $250 million bribery scheme. And Adani has denied the allegations, and this might spoil US India diplomatic ties. However, I believe that um, so right now, as President Trump was sworn in, he will basically make this case go away because it was really Biden that was leading the charge here with the charges against Adani. Um, so yeah, because Trump really has a lot of work to do with the kind of ambitions that he has, and he is a businessman, which is clear from how he is threatening to impose tariffs on China and other countries to get favorable deals. I don't think he will impose these tariffs. He's just threatening it to get a better position of power and a better negotiation, um, so that people are more willing to give them favorable terms. And yeah, so since he is a businessman, he will not really be pushing this case on Adani, is what I believe and what my research has led me to believe. And here we can see it says the indictment of Adani and seen as a politically driven is seen as politically driven and will have a bearing on US India collaboration with mutual trust uh, unless the incoming Trump administration drops the prosecution, which is what I believe will happen, which is also why I'm bullish on Adani stocks. Again, this is not sure shot. Obviously, they could still press charges or fine Adani. Uh, we won't know till Trump really, uh, if Trump actually does something about this, or if the case just goes ahead. Also, one more thing to mention is the US government uh, did give Adani a loan to finance a port in Sri Lanka, which was the largest infrastructure investment in Asia. Now, however, it has been uh, withdrawn. Like Adani has said that they will be doing it with their own personal funds instead of the loan that the US was supposed to give. Because of these allegations, they have basically withdrawn that loan. And this investment was actually pretty important because they wanted to establish a port where China's influence was pretty strong. So it would have actually been a step in the right direction. However, if Adani can finance the port by their own funds, that also works for them. And yeah, that was basically just this article. And back to the document. Yeah, so I was talking about the Sri Lanka port. So this is what it is about. Yeah, so here it talks about how they will do the project by themselves. Yeah, has withdrawn the $553 million loan requested from the US Development Finance Corporation. Yeah, this comes after bribery charges were leveled by the US Security and Exchange Commission. So obviously tensions are rising here, but once again, with the Trump administration coming in, we will hopefully see a change in that. Right. Next, I just want to discuss what the charges are against Adani because it's not related to bribery of US officials. It's an issue in India, but the US is concerned because the investors have invested in Adani's company, which has been dealing with bribing people, is what they allege. Right. So it mentions how the case appears strong, but extradition is unlikely. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is the whole thing. They accused him of bribing Indian officials to convince them to buy electricity produced by Adani Green, and this misled US investors by providing reassuring information about the company's anti corruption practices. So basically, in Adani's in the company's document, it's mentioned that they have anti-corruption practices, and the US believes that they did bribe um, officials in India to convince them to buy electricity produced by their company, and that's why they feel that their investors are being misled, and which is why they want to file a case against him. Yeah, again, Adani has um, called these allegations baseless. And we can see, If we go to the next slide, so basically the cases were assigned to one judge for efficiency, which is why I believe it is more of a political thing against him rather than an actual case. Like, I feel like there is an agenda being pushed here to um, go against him, and it's not just like a regular case. I feel like he's being targeted here, but again, I can't really say anything about why I think that is. And again, um, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister said that no action will be taken against them without concrete evidence. And the U.S. attorney who announced the charge against them and FBI director have both stepped down in recent weeks, which is interesting to say the least. And if we look at some of the positives around the stock, one is that the Hindenburg research firm has shut down uh, out of the blue, actually. But this is a positive because now there won't be any ugly disruptions from them, which will cause huge volatility uh, to Adani ports. Obviously, other research firms could publish certain documents, but the main one won't be doing any such thing. And also, it was hinted that uh, basically Trump might dismiss the case or whatever by one Republican. But here we can see, yeah, see, Republican Congressman Lance Gooden has said that um, they should focus on punishing bad actors at home rather than chasing rumors abroad, which is a valid point I feel he makes. And he says that it harms the US and it targets entities that invest uh, tens of billions of dollars and create a lot of jobs for Americans and US in the long run. And I feel like Adani is actually creating a lot of jobs in the US and pouring funds there. So Trump, again, business minded, will uh, hopefully move to dismiss the case. And so does this Republican. Also feels the same. So that's what this article was about. Another interesting thing was this article, which mentions that when Trump got elected, Gautam Adani said that his group will invest $10 billion in US energy infrastructure projects. Now, obviously, if he is going to make such large investments, you would expect Trump to, you know, see him in a more positive light because he will be creating jobs and investing in the US. But again, we'll just have to wait and watch. But That is what I feel. Uh, Also, this is a video by Aryan Bhaskar that I suggest you should watch because I found it extremely informative. And also, Trump has strong ties with India, and I don't think he will want to risk that, given the current situation the world is in. And if you look at a couple of price targets, um, out of 16 analysts, 69% of them have given it a buy rating, with 25% giving an outperform rating and only 6% giving a hold rating. So clearly, they are in consensus that this is a buy stock. And TradingView suggests a similar view with a max of 76% upside and a minimum of 19% upside. Um, yeah, if we look at this document as well, um, the fundamentals are positive, relative valuation is also good, risk is also less. Price momentum is not great because it has dropped recently, but again, here again we can see it's a buy rating by 16 analysts, right? So it does seem that most analysts are in consensus that this is a stock that you should accumulate. Um, that is why I'm. That's why I bought it. Like that's why I bought it in paper trading, and it's basically just the political situation. I feel that will once it clears up, then the stock price will really surge. So yeah, in the next video, I will be discussing KPIT Technologies, which is an IT company. So you should watch out for that as well.